I've been able to help 60 guys achieve six-pack abs and look pretty much incredible. Now, one of the main things I see when people come to me is they will have said they were bulking for a while. In reality, and you probably found this yourself, you can say you're bulking, that ends up just being a cope as to why you can do bad habits. Oh, I can eat this cake, I'm bulking. Oh, I can overindulge on calories, I'm bulking. And people end up using that for their own laziness. Oh, I don't need to do cardio because I'm bulking. And they'll use the term bulking. I want you to stop bulking, and especially using the term. A lot of you need to stop bulking simply because you're just being lazy. And if I was to watch your working sets in the gym, you're not even training that hard. So you just end up getting fat and call it a bulk. And then you look thicker and better in a t-shirt and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. But in reality, how much muscle did you actually build across that period? You see, the way you want to look at it, it's not bulking, you're in a gaining or improvement phase. And in that phase, you eat the exact same meals as you were doing in the dieting phase. The only thing is you eat more food inside those meals. And you look at it as more, I increase my food so I can increase my gym floor performance. A bulking phase should feel like absolute war. Your sessions should be brutal and horrible. You should be leaving the gym fucked and fatigued because you pushed it to 0 reps in reserve. You grinded every ounce of muscle, every energy out of the fibers you possibly could do. You should have a training partner that's pushing you as hard as fuck. You should be abusing each other in the gym, calling each other a pussy, saying I'm going to beat you on this set, watch what happens, and then terrorizing each other. This is what me and my training partners do. Last year we were in the Middle East, 4 months locked in, full gaining phase, at each other's throats, and it was war, and it gets intense, and it gets it gets pretty darn fun actually. So that's how you need to approach your gaining phase, because you need to be securing new muscle tissue. Now, the only reason you are eating in a surplus is to support your energy demands in the gym. So you eat a little bit more to support your energy demands in the gym so you can produce more output, which you then need to re-sleep back in anyway once you're resting and recovering, because that's actually how you grow the muscle. A lot of you call it bulking and just shove a load of food down your neck, chase the scale weight going up, and get a little bit stronger. I cut you back down, I guarantee you built 0 muscle at all. It was just simply a waste of time. That's why most of you need to stop bulking, because it's a cope for your bad habits essentially. It's a cope for you to just be slack, and you're not being productive with your training, and you're just wasting time, and you'll get demoralized about it anyway, because you'll think, I've kind of looked the same for a long period of time. And when you're in the bulking phase, you kind of look a bit out of condition. And that's why you want to do a lean bulk. You want to get peeled first, get lean first, and then from there, slowly integrate more food to increase your output. So you'll look fuller as you're lean anyway. So you'll look fuller as you're eating more food, but then your training performance is going up, and you're just slowly, only steadily increasing a little bit of food at a time in order to drive that performance in the gym. The next reason why you want to stop bulking comes down to the fact that your body fat is too high and you're simply just not using carbohydrates efficiently. There comes a point where you become insulin resistant. A lot of you, when you start out, probably need to cut first because your body is used to you consuming loads of fucking carbs, not really doing anything with it, and it just sits on you and stores. So now you try and go into a bit of a surplus like that, what happens? It just does more of the same. More storing, more sitting. So you're not as efficient as when you use carbohydrates. How do you know when you're efficient at using carbohydrates? Well, if you've done a dieting phase before, you'll know that you get quite depleted, you run a high carb day, you respond very well, the muscles blow up, they look pumped, they look full. That's being responsive to carbohydrates, specifically insulin. So if you've been in a gaining phase for too long, you're just not going to be that responsive to it. Therefore, your training's not going to be as effective, you're not going to get, let's say you have 100 grams of carbs, but your efficiency is 50%, you're only going to use 50 grams of those carbs anyway, the rest just is wasted in excess. So therefore, you're only going to get 50% of the output you could have got from the 100 grams of carbs that you eat, and in this very simplified example. So you want to really get the most out of everything. It's the same way you want to optimize your hormone levels, because if your test levels are as good as they could be naturally, you're going to be able to develop more tissue anyway. So put that in the best light. So put yourself in the best light that you can use the fuel that you're physically eating, rather than just cramming food in for the sake of it, being like, oh, I'm bulking, and really all you're putting on these last few kilos is just pure body fat. So that's why potentially a lot of you've maxed it out. You've probably been at it for too long, too high carbohydrates, you're just not as efficient at using it anymore. The last reason is from a mentality standpoint. You see, when you get above 16% body fat, if you see yourself as like an athlete, a gym goer, someone that's always been fit, you start to look quite soft. You start to look quite out of condition. And that doesn't do good things for your mental space, because you always saw yourself as this athlete guy with abs, someone that trained. Now, there is a difference between becoming too fat and out of condition and not being comfortable being uncomfortable. In your first few gaining phases, you are going to need to get to the point where you're like, oof, I'm pretty big, like I've added a lot, I am a bit soft, and you may need to see that out for a few more weeks. But don't keep pushing that beyond. Don't take the piss. Don't get above 20%. God, don't get above 19, 20 or into the 20% body fat and call it a bulk. That's not good. That's not going to do any good for your mental health if you've always been someone that's fairly lean. Like, sure, get comfortable. Being uncomfortable is like you're eating a high amount of food, your gym sessions are absolute war, and you're tipping around 15, 16% body fat. Your abs are still kind of there, but they're a little bit soft. At that point, turn your brain off, keep going till you hit your target weight that you set out, or you've spent the length of the gaining phase you had planned to. But don't push it beyond that. Don't go sitting and just solely taking the piss, because if you're not someone that's quite disciplined, you'll just use that as an excuse and be like, it's all right, I'm bulking, and you'll just get fat. And when you start to just get fat, your self-respect goes down, therefore your other self-improvement habits start to diminish, therefore your overall mental health will start to diminish as well. And I don't want that to happen, because then you won't have longevity in this game. I can tell you right now, if you started out like me, like skinny as anything, you're going to need to do 3 to 4 bulks at least. I've done 3, I'm definitely going to do another one this year after I finish this cutting phase and holding maintenance phase. So around August of this year I'm going to start again. You need longevity in the game, and this is the way you have it. It's by not taking yourself to a traumatic experience where I got that out of condition, I didn't like how I looked, because I've done it on the first bulk. I've done it, and even then I could kind of see the top 2 abs, but I was soft and I didn't like it at all. I really, really didn't, and it doesn't do any good for you. So take it from my experience. I've stepped in the puddle, my trainers got dirty, watch the puddle, walk around it. That's the advice I'm trying to give to you. So when you go through your bulking phase, you don't call it a bulk, you call it a gaining phase. You slowly just increase food to drive performance in the gym. Your gym sessions are the hardest thing about your day. They're absolute war, you're pushing yourself with your friend. Then you come out, you sleep, recover. You don't get to a point where you're too soft and out of condition or not using insulin efficiently. And that's when you should cut your bulk short. So if you found this video of value, great. If you want me to bulk you up or take you on a gaining phase, there'll be a link in the description. Come through, join us at the Gorilla Platoon, and if you found this video of value, then subscribe to the channel. Apart from that, I'll see you tomorrow.